Well, good evening, greetings, and salutations. This is Passionate Bliss, and I want to tell you about my walk through the YouTube streets. So I was walking through the YouTube streets, right? And I walked up on some of my neighbors and they were speaking again about men and women and their relationships. We talked about various things. We talked about the black femicide rate, how black women are being killed every 5 hours, primarily at the hands of black men. We talked about how men were saying, well, these women need to pick better. And the reason that women were having bad relationship outcomes is because they didn't know how to pick. They're just picking the wrong bad guy. Even though only 30% of black men ever get married, and the 70% of you don't ever get married, we're supposed to stick our hand in the barrel and somehow come out with a winner. That's not the point, though. The point is, these guys keep saying that we need to pick better. But I've also heard the women saying, you can't vet these bandits because they lie to you, they deceive you, they pretend to be someone else. You can put on a facade and maintain it for years before the real you ever comes out. This happens to lots of people who get married. This happens to people who are involved with con artists, with sociopaths, with serial killers, and they don't even know it because they're able to present to you someone acceptable for as long as they need to. And so for women have said, we can't vet these guys. But I'm going to have to disagree. I think that you can vet. You're not going to get 100% certainty. You're not going to get 100% guarantee, but you can vet. You can vet by definition alone. This is the definition of vetting. To vet means to make a careful and critical examination of something or someone. Careful and critical. We can do that. We make careful decisions every day. We make critical thinking decisions every day about our safety, our well-being, our livelihood, our families. We make careful and critical decisions every day. We can apply that to human beings. We can vet to a certain extent. We can vet to exclude. Okay? And I think we should practice that because I actually was on a channel and I witnessed, a vetting process take place. And the women were vetting and rating these guys, A through F, and E was on there as well. And they were showing clips of the men speaking on the panels in the past, and the women were vetting them. And some of the choices I knew without having ever seen these video clips before, these guys were inappropriate, but the women were rating them as dateable. And so I learned that we're lousy at vetting. And now I understood why we're being killed every 5 hours. Because we're lousy at vetting and weeding out the homicidal ones, the inappropriate ones. There was one guy, they gave him a rating that he was dateable. And the man clearly was wearing a coat of violence on him that I could stand out. It looked like it was as clear as him wearing a coat. He was argumentative, he was agitated, he was emotional when he was speaking and trying to debate his points. That's violence. And I saw that women don't know how to connect speech and behaviors to outcomes. And so I feel like we can vet. I want to show you an example of vetting.
I'm enjoying getting to know you. Tell me a little bit more about, your personality.
Well, I'm an alpha male for real.
Okay, so I want to go through some things that I feel like we can look at. Most of these things we can tell on the phone. We can tell through text. We can tell maybe without even being in that person's company for an extended amount of time. We can tell these things, okay? And number one is this. The person is defensive. They're always trying to defend themselves as if you made an accusation that you never made. Or they start giving you the reasons for things they did and you didn't ask them for it. Or they're always putting you on the defensive. You're having to explain, well, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I meant this. I was saying this. That's all I said. Or I wasn't saying that. I was just kidding. Gosh, you're always having to defend yourself. What you said, what you did, you have to defend yourself all the time. If you're always on the defensive or he's always defending himself as if you attacked him, that is a sign that this person could be violent. Okay. And you want to make sure that if you're always feeling like you got to defend yourself or you're walking on eggshells around this person, you got to watch every word you say, you're never comfortable. That's a sign that this person could be violent, okay? If a person is disrespectful verbally, if a person will disrespect you verbally, he will disrespect you physically. If a person will curse at you, he will hit you, okay? If he is calling you out of your name, calling you lazy ass, dumb ass, fat ass, if he is, raising his voice to you, if he is yelling, that is disrespect. This is somebody who will verbally abuse you. He will physically abuse you. Okay. Number 3, aggressive. He's quick to anger. He can't manage his temper. He's always upset. He's yelling. He's argumentative. Even in regular conversations, it turns into an argument, or it has the tone of an argument. That means he's aggressive. Verbal aggression will turn to physical aggression. And I want us to remember that, okay? Emotional men, they're the worst, including the ones who cry. If a man is so upset about something you said or you accuse him of and he's crying and he's so upset, that means he's unstable emotionally. He should not be crying. Something he's crying about, he shouldn't even be crying. You're not even crying, but he's crying. I personally think when a man is crying, he's trying to manipulate you and your behavior. Manipulative men, they are violent men, okay? Easily jealous. You did nothing, no reason, never cheated. What you even did wasn't even appropriate for him to be so jealous. A lot of times you want to think, oh, that's so cute, he's jealous. No, it's not. That's unstable, especially if there was no provocation. That is unstable. Instability, okay? They will be driven by their jealousy to do violent things. These are people who will harm you, okay? Always see themselves as a victim. Okay, that means that they don't take accountability. They bear no responsibility. We broke up because she cheated. We broke up because she lied. We broke up because she stole my money. We broke up because she. It's always she. They. He. It's always somebody else except them. They're always the victim. Okay, I had one person tell me that he went to jail on a drug charge because his mother would not pay the money to have a lawyer. He had to have the public defender, and it was his mother's fault that he went to jail. I was like, so you're telling me that it's your mother's fault that you decided to sell drugs and got caught and went to jail, but it's her fault you're in jail because she didn't spend her hard-earned money on a lawyer to get you out of jail for the drugs that you actually sold. Okay, so these are people who will find a way to make it somebody else's fault about what happens to them. And this person will find a way to make it your fault, whatever happened to them. If they had a bad day at work, they're going to come home and it's your fault. And there's going to be a fight and there's going to be violence. This is how we weed out violent people so that we don't become one every 5 hours who's gone, okay? The next one, compulsive lying and sneakiness. Okay, if they're hiding something all the time, you found that they've been hiding something, if they're compulsively lying, if you find them catching them in little white lies. I have people lie to me about their salary. I'm in the field, so I know that he's lying about the salary because I know what people who are in your field make, and you're lying at triple the salary. They're lying about their bills. They're lying about their car payment. They're lying about, how much they do. They're lying about how much they spend. They lie about their credit. They lie about where they've been and what they've done. If you catch somebody in a small lie, you need to get rid of them because a small lie will lead to a big lie. And the fact is, if they're lying about something small, you don't know that small lie isn't actually a big lie hiding behind it. So if they're lying and you catch them in little lies, you need to drop them. Because a whole other personality could be hiding behind those lies, okay? And so they abuse substances, okay? And this includes marijuana. People like to say that marijuana is not a drug. It's an herb. It grows naturally. It doesn't matter. If they're smoking constantly, nonstop, all the time, that's a problem. If they're drinking constantly, nonstop, all the time, that's a problem. They abuse substances because the fact of the matter is, if they're always abusing a substance, you don't know that you've ever dealt with their real personality. You don't know what's behind the drug. It's a mood-altering substance. If it affects your brain chemically, it is a drug, okay? You don't know what their real mood is. You don't know if they're going to become an angry drunk one day, a violent drunk one day. A lot of times they may not even remember what they've said to you or done to you the next day, including take your life. So if somebody is abusing drugs in any way, that's somebody you need to avoid. If you find that somebody is vindictive, they always want payback. Okay, I'm going to get you back for that, but I got her back for that. Those are statements that people make who are vindictive. If they get somebody back, they feel a need to get retaliation for what was done to them. They're going to retaliate against you. Sometimes they want to retaliate against you because you decide, I don't want to be with you anymore. A lot of times the dangerous time for the woman who leaves an abuser is when she decides to leave because you don't have the right to leave. And they're going to get you back because you left them. Even though they treated you like dirt, they're going to get you back because you left them. Nobody else can have you. They have to get you back. You can't be happy. They got to get you back because they're unhappy. So if you hear them saying they had to get somebody back or they're going to get payback, That's somebody you need to avoid so that you don't end up being the one who's gone every 5 hours, okay? And those are things I feel like you can pick up on during conversations with somebody if you're looking for it, okay? So we can vet to exclude people who could possibly be violent to us. A couple of other things that I think it may take a little more time to figure out. If somebody's controlling, they're always trying to, figure out where you are, what you're doing, trying to tell you where to go, what to do, what to be, how to act, how to sound, how to talk, how to look, how to dress. I don't like makeup. I don't like weave. But they met you with a face full of makeup on and a weave. And now that you're together, I don't like makeup. I don't like weave. I don't like these clothes. That's too tight. That's too low. This is controlling people. Controlling persons will hurt you when they lose control of you. Okay? We want to please who we're with. So we make adjustments. But, if you decide, you know what, I'm actually not going to do that, and they lose control of you, then they start hitting you to gain back control, intimidating you with violence, okay? Somebody who's emotional, the crying ones, I don't trust them. They're trying to manipulate you. They're crying. Oh, men cry too. Yeah, as soon as they're not getting what they want from you and they start crying, that's manipulation. The emotional ones are the worst. Jealous for no reason. You did nothing. Okay, emotional ones. Also, by the same token, ones who have no emotions ever. They don't feel sorry for nobody. They don't have sympathy for nobody. They don't have condolences for nobody. They don't, regret nothing. People who don't have a normal emotional response to things, that's somebody who could be a sociopath. Personality disorder, they call it. Or narcissism, they also call it. Those are people you want to avoid because they're emotionally unavailable and unstable. They'll do anything. There's nothing phases them, including taking your life. Okay? Let's see what else. I think that's all I got for right now. So I'll do a part 2 because this is already 8 minutes. I don't like long videos. So I'll do a part 2. And we'll see how we can continue to vet people, because we can do careful and critical examination of people to at least keep us off the black femicide rate. Okay? With that being said, y'all have sweet dreams. Wait to find them all real.